Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to make a really quick video today explaining some reasons as to why I think that Tesla are way ahead of any possible competition. So obviously for years and years and years, Tesla were leading the way in electric vehicle production. They were the company that you think of when you think about electric vehicles. Tesla comes to mind. And they were really the ones that were actually getting electric vehicles to become more and more mainstream and more affordable and more popular. So they've been leading the way. But obviously, over time, as we've seen this inevitable switch from internal combustion engine vehicles to electric vehicles, which is, like I said, inevitable, it's happening, we have seen that legacy automakers and new companies as well have had to make the switch. And they too have had to start offering electric vehicles. Now, as we've seen more and more of these upcoming, we've seen Ford, we've seen GM, Volkswagen, all of these really known companies have started producing really attractive electric vehicles. Like, they're really nice and people do want them. People start to worry that Tesla is now, it's game over for Tesla. They've had their run, it's been a good time, but now they're not going to be able to compete anymore. And I really strongly do not believe that that's the case. Well, clearly I don't believe that's the case. My channel, I make a lot of Tesla videos and my portfolio's biggest position is in Tesla, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. In fact, I want to accumulate as many Tesla shares as I possibly can because I believe that this company is only just getting started. So we've got other EV makers up and coming. They're already producing pretty good vehicles. So why do I believe that Tesla is so far ahead of any potential competition? Well, there's a few reasons. Obviously, Tesla are making affordable electric vehicles and they are making money doing that. A lot of other electric vehicle makers out there, or a lot of other automotive manufacturers, are not actually making money on their electric vehicles. So they are, keeping afloat with their internal combustion engine vehicles, and they are just making electric vehicles on the side that aren't really making money. So firstly, that's not very good in the long term for a company. But Tesla as well are not only making money on their electric vehicles, but the margins are really good. Obviously, we've got lots of news about price cuts in China and price cuts generally, and then people worry about the margins decreasing, all of this stuff. I've said in other videos, so I'm not going to say it too much again, but the fact that they've got a choice and they can be flexible with a price cut in order to increase volume of sales says a lot, in my opinion. But anyway, their margins are second to none. Their margins are really, really good. Leading in the field. They are very, very competitive. And their factories are really not spoken about enough. Not only are they always making their production more and more efficient, their factories more and more efficient, but they are expanding them all of the time. It's amazing, and they are doing that because they need to keep up with demand. But anyway, this is not really what the focus of this video is about. They've also got their superchargers and their supercharging network. This is more built out in America than it is in Asia or Europe, so we should see that expanding over here and in Asia, in due course. But in America, it's not only the fastest way that you can charge a Tesla vehicle, they are also way more common and distributed around the US than other options. And that's what you want, because one of the big barriers to entry with getting an electric vehicle or getting a Tesla, whatever it may be, is that the customer worries they are going to get stuck. They can't plan long road trips. The range of the vehicle can't take them far enough without them having to be stuck without a method of charging. And it's understandable. You wouldn't want that to happen. But now with the Tesla supercharging network, not only can Tesla vehicles not have to worry about that and be able to charge super quickly, really, really quickly, they're way better than the level 2 chargers. I think it's about between 15 minutes and maybe 45 minutes to fully charge a Tesla vehicle. I don't own one, so I could be a little bit wrong there, but I think that was the numbers that I read. But also, not just Tesla vehicles. We have seen that so many other companies have now decided to adopt the Tesla North American charging standard plug, which means that the Tesla supercharging network is now going to be open to way more companies than just Tesla. So if you are driving around and you don't have a Tesla vehicle, you have a different EV, you can use the Tesla supercharging network as long as, in the future that company adopts the plug, whatever. So that's pretty big news. Here's the reason that I believe that Tesla are just they just don't have competition, right? You can say that other companies are producing good EVs. Great. Maybe go with them rather than a Tesla, fine. But Tesla are solving FSD. They are solving full self-driving, and no other company is anywhere close. A lot of people don't really believe that full self-driving is ever going to happen. But I follow a lot of accounts on X that actually have the version 12 beta of full self-driving, and they are using it on the daily, and it looks incredible, and it's making such great progress, and it's gonna happen. The shift is going to happen, and we are going to see a point in the future. I don't know when. No one knows when. No one knows when, and no one can predict the effect that it's going to have on the stock price and, so on and so forth. But it's going to happen where there is a shift where people are no longer manually driving their electric vehicle. The vehicle is driving them. It is going to happen. And in decades to come, our kids, this generation's kids or their kids, are going to be really, really shocked that we ever actually drove our own cars. We will simply get into the vehicle, enter our destination, and the car will drive us to that destination. This will be like the shift we saw with smartphones. When I've spoken to my grandparents, or I've heard our people's grandparents, they are always saying things like, you guys are just glued to your phones. You always have your phone in your pocket. We never had that, etc., etc. There was a shift, a point in time where the smartphone was rolled out, and we all had a supercomputer, a computer in our pockets at all times. Before that point, before that was starting to get adopted, that was unknown. You could have, go back 100 years and talk to someone and explain the concept of someone carrying around a phone, a computer in their pocket. It would have been mind-blowing. No way can that happen. Not a chance. That's not going to happen. People aren't going to let it happen. It's not safe. It doesn't make sense. The world can't function like that. All of these doubts, but it happened. There was that shift. And I believe it's going to be the same with FSD. There's going to be a point in time where we as a society no longer get in our vehicles and drive them. And this isn't because, in my opinion, civilization is becoming more and more lazy. I mean, we are, that's a given. But it's the advances that we are making in technology. We are becoming more efficient, and we are going to save ourselves a lot of time. And on top of that, it's going to be safer. Now, Tesla will be the ones that do this first. They are already really close to doing this. And there are no other companies that are anywhere near. The amount of time, the amount of intelligence, the amount of technology enhancements that Tesla have put in to solving full self-driving is like no other company. Other companies have been trying to, do autonomous driving for a while, but they've not really got to the same point as Tesla have. There are a few reasons for this. Tesla are obviously attracting the talent. People want to work at Tesla. They've got the money to actually put into doing this. Whatever the reason may be, the point is Tesla are going to be the ones to actually solve full self-driving first. And when this happens, whenever that may be, it is going to be one of them moments in history that completely changes the way things are currently done. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be that the whole world, every Tesla vehicle in the world suddenly has the capabilities of full self-driving. No, it can't be like that. It can't be like that because there are different regulations between different states in America. There are different regulations between different countries. Europe especially is quite highly regulated, and it's going to be a lot harder to roll it out here as it maybe has been in the US. And it's going to be different again in Asia. And also, Europe, the road structures in Europe are quite challenging compared to America. American roads tend to be, quite straight, and you just drive one direction, then you make a turn, you drive straight again. It's not the same in Europe. We have lots of pedestrian crossings here. We have lots of roundabouts. We have lots of small intricate roads and country roads, and it's more of a challenge. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, is that they are going to sort it out in America, and then over time they will gather the statistics and gather the data. And this data that they will have will show that since the initial introduction of full self-driving, since that point when they do that in America, the level, the amount, the volume of driving crashes, problems on the road will significantly go down. They will be able to show through data that having FSD in the vehicle is way safer. And that's what a lot of people worry about. A lot of people worry that if these cars are driving themselves, that is asking for trouble. There is no way that can be safe. but you've only got to go on the road, and I bet you in one 10-minute journey, you will find at least one thing that another driver on the road does that winds you up because you don't believe it was the correct way of driving or the safe way of driving. Humans make human error. We're awful for it. There are some really bad drivers out there, and there are people that will get in their car when they are tired or they are in no fit state to drive, and that is really unsafe, and that causes accidents. And that is one thing that a very, very good trained FSD vehicle won't have to worry about. You won't have to get in a vehicle that has FSD and be very, very concerned that the human, because there won't be one, hasn't had a good night's sleep. You know, that won't be an issue. And the reason that Tesla is going to solve this first is because they have the data advantage. They have spent years of time collecting data from all the Teslas that are currently on the road driving around utilizing this software. They've been collecting it, they've been retraining using that information. You know, a car goes out and it sees a hazard. It learns how to deal with that. That then retrains the neural nets and it gets better and better over time. They have the data advantage. And this gives them such a significant lead. And not only that, but today, the 28th of August, Tesla are turning on 10,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, graphic processing units, to help train its FSD neural networks. They have made the shift from using the NVIDIA A100 GPUs to the H100. And these are the newest, the latest, the best model that you can get from NVIDIA. And I actually learned about this for the first time today on an X post that Sawyer Merritt posted. So I definitely recommend you checking that out. I'll leave a link in the description for that. But basically this H100 GPU is 30 times faster than the previous A100 GPU that they were using from NVIDIA. And it's 9 times faster and better at AI training. So this upgrade that they've made is big. It was really, really expensive, but it's big and it's important as it will help Tesla train their FSD even faster. And at the same time as they are doing this, they are also bringing their dojo, their own custom-made supercomputer online. This combination of the H100 cluster and activating their own dojo supercomputer is expected to provide them with enough compute power to train their FSD neural networks. And it's been this compute power that has been the bottleneck for Tesla solving FSD. And when you add these things together, you start to understand how this is the exponential growth of them solving FSD that they have wanted to get to. When all this is said and done and Tesla have FSD up and running, there's going to be a point whereby you decide whether you want to purchase an electric vehicle from another company that doesn't have autonomous driving, or you're going to purchase a Tesla that does have autonomous driving, and they will probably be around the same price. And with autonomous driving and FSD becoming the new normal, a lot of people, most people, will probably opt to actually go for the Tesla option. So the other automakers, the other EV makers are going to have to basically have their own way of providing FSD to their customers in order to stand a chance, in order to compete. And how will they do that? Well, they will either have to go through a similar process that Tesla's had to go through and, you know, crack it their own way, or, and here's another interesting part, they are going to have to license Tesla's FSD from Tesla. Tesla has the power once again. And Elon Musk has said that he is willing to do this. He is willing to license the FSD to other companies that want to use it. This, of course, will mean that they are providing, they are valuing this as a piece of software. And this could potentially be a very, very lucrative, very crazy revenue source for Tesla. And that's just one part. That's one tiny part. Then what we have next happening is that they introduce the Robotaxi fleet. And this is mind-blowing. And again, so many people, myself included really, we don't really understand how this could possibly become the new normal. Like, how do we go from a point in society where we all own a vehicle and we all drive, we literally sit and drive our vehicle to our destination, to a point in time where we can either lease our car out, if it's a Tesla, to the Robotaxi fleet, or we just simply, like with taxi services, we get in a vehicle that will drive us to our destination and we will pay per mile. And that vehicle will drive itself, and there will be a whole fleet of them. That will completely change the transportation industry as we know it today. And I think we are quite a few years away from that. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say that this is going to happen in the next 2 years, because I don't believe it will. I do believe that we're getting very close to FSD sort of being fully up and running in some parts of the world. I do think that Europe and other places in the world will be lagging behind the US. We typically do when it comes to new technologies. We're a lot more safe. We have a lot more regulations. But once they can prove that it's safer, I think that the European regulators are going to be more open to make that switch. But anyway, we have FSD. We have Tesla's humanoid robot. There's just so much stuff going on with this company. We have Dojo. It's honestly mind-blowing. And this is all outside of just their vehicle. Tesla is just a car company. I don't know how anyone is still saying this. Even if you don't like Tesla and you don't want Tesla stock in your portfolio, you can see that they're doing way more than just selling cars. They are literally training their vehicles to drive themselves. They have a whole energy sector. Anyway, this video is not meant to be about all of that stuff, so I'm going to stop there. But it blows my mind when I sit and I think about everything that Tesla is doing. My point in this video is that yes, other companies are now offering good electric vehicle options, and that's great. That is helping society to make the shift towards renewable, sustainable energy in the transportation industry. That's good. But what Tesla are doing behind the scenes that not many people are seeing, especially not many people outside of some areas in the US anyway, is that they are solving FSD. And that is massive, and other companies are going to really struggle to compete with that. Thank you for listening to this video. If you've got anything you'd like to add to this topic, leave them in the comments below, and I'll catch you in another video very shortly.